Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Derek Olthuis, and today we're going to introduce a new video series called Catch the Fish of a Lifetime. Over my career as a guide and media specialist in the fly fishing industry, I've been able to spend a ton of time on the water. I've been able to travel a lot, and I've been able to catch some really amazing fish. I feel super lucky. I'm like the luckiest guy in the world to have spent so much time on the water. And in this series, I want to give back to you guys and share some of the knowledge that I've been able to gain by spending so much time on the water so that you can catch the fish of a lifetime. Doesn't matter the species. We're going to break it down. We're going to look at different food items, habitat, water temps. You know, we're gonna, throughout this video series, really dive deep into a lot of different things. Where I'm gonna start with this is what I think is the basis of all big fish, and that's identifying a food source. Of course, there's other things that go into it, like we mentioned, water temps, you know, pH levels of water, all that good stuff. But, you know, without an overabundant food source, you're just not going to get big fish. So an example of that might be the Taylor River in Colorado. The Taylor Park Reservoir above the Taylor River is filled with mysis shrimp, and those mysis shrimp get pulled out through the dam, and they create an overabundance of food that grows fish over 10 pounds on a pretty regular basis. In order to kind of keep this video as simple as possible, today I'm just going to choose one food source. You know, there's several: mysis shrimp, scuds, rodents, bait fish, stock trout. You know, the list goes on and on and on of food items that have the potential to grow really big fish. In this particular video, we're gonna look at Utah chubs. All right, let's dive into this Utah chub information. I'm gonna start out by just doing a quick Google search on Utah chub habitat. I'm gonna scroll down. The very first thing that comes up is a Montana field guide by montana.government. So we're going to come in here and we're going to look general description, characteristics, habitat. Very generalized habitat requirements found in both stream and lakes with abundant aquatic vegetation. There's a key: abundant aquatic vegetation. Prefers slow moving or still water, as in sloughs, backwaters, and reservoirs. Spawns in littoral waters. So one, we know they're going to like areas that have abundant aquatic vegetation, and two, they're going to spawn in littoral areas or right along the shoreline. Says that they feed largely on zooplankton, plants, insects, and crustaceans. Let's see, spawns, rearing areas. Here we go. Spawns mid-May to mid-August in Hepkin Lake, where water temperatures exceed, or when water temperatures exceed 54 degrees Fahrenheit, which is usually late June and early July. So right there, we already know the general area that they like to be and when they're going to spawn. And it's important to know when and where they spawn, because those big fish are definitely going to come in and eat when they're spawning, because they're going to be congregated. They're going to have something else on their mind, and that distraction is going to give these big fish an easy opportunity to come in and put on a lot of weight by eating a lot of these chubs. So the next thing I did is I just went in and put in Utah chub overpopulation. So that comes up. I looked through a few of these already. And the fifth one down is Trout versus Chub by the Utah Division of Wildlife. So I come in here, it's talking about Schofield Reservoir right here. Let's see what it says. It says that Chub currently outnumber trout in Schofield 9-1. You can see from the pictures here, these are clearly some big fish that are getting grown in this reservoir. So come back over here. Now, just, I want to confirm, it says that Schofield Reservoir has indeed large fish in it and an overpopulation of Utah chubs. I already know Utah state record is 19 pounds 2 ounces caught out of Schofield. That record came after several previous records were broken in Utah. But just to kind of see, does Schofield Reservoir grow large fish? I'm just going to Google search it. Schofield Reservoir. And since all the pictures that I've seen so far have been of tiger trout, I'll just put tiger trout. All right. So, first thing that comes up is a bunch of pictures of really big trout that have been caught out of Schofield Reservoir. Just with a few minutes on a Google search, I've already discovered the general habitat and behavior of these fish. I've discovered a reservoir that they live in and clearly grows big fish. Now what I would do is I would jump over to a map of that place and I would look for somewhere that has those characteristics of where chubs want to be. So it said they like shoreline areas with heavy aquatic vegetation. So this actually isn't a map of Schofield Reservoir. This is another reservoir, but you can see along here all this aquatic vegetation right tight along the shoreline. So this is clearly going to be an area that these fish want to hang out in. Like I said, we'll do a deep dive into the other parts of this. We'll look at water temps, we'll look at pH levels, we'll look at other food sources, we'll look at maps and kind of see how I find some of these places. But this should be a really good starting place for you where you can start to research some of your own locations. The reason why I showed Schofield is because, one, I think Schofield is past its prime. Two, because Schofield was in the news so frequently with how many state records came out of there. And I just think that it's kind of a well-known area that has produced big fish in the past. Anyway, this should be a really good starting point for you guys to start digging into your own research. Find an abundant food source in a lake or a river, and you're going to start finding these fish of a lifetime. We'll dive into more of this further down the road. Thanks for joining. I hope this was helpful. We'll catch you on the next one.